Hey guys, Brent Boyer from Adam again. So I wanted to talk today about custody and men's rights and how all this works, and I want to talk about the top 5 ways to get custody and the advantages that you can get in a custody and parenting time dispute, whether it's a divorce case or you're never married and you're splitting up, how to deal with the situation, and the top 5 ways. So, the name of the game, of course, is compromise. You don't have to learn this the hard way. There's lots of information out there. At our law firm at Adam, we've been through lots of custody cases over the years, so we can tell you the do's and don'ts and what things are your best strategies and the best way to go about this. But compromise is certainly a lot of it. Most of these cases are going to settle out of court. A good 98% of custody and parenting time disputes are resolved without a trial, without a hearing. So that means most of these will at some point end up by being done by agreement. Might not seem like it at the beginning. I know emotions can run high and things seem difficult, but that tends to change as time goes on, and you will in all likelihood end up with some sort of agreement. So how do you get to the right agreement, and how do you avoid problems? So, first of all, you don't want to start off thinking of it as a custody battle. That's never a good approach. So that's one thing to keep in mind. You're looking at, what's my custody and parenting time schedule? What can I set up? What's realistic? When am I available? When is the mother of the children available? So the first strategy, number 1 here on top 5 ways to get custody and the advantages that you can get with a custody and parenting time dispute is if you're living together, stay living together. A common mistake people will make is they'll move out at the beginning of a separation, a divorce, whichever it is. There's a custody dispute. They move out, leave the kids behind with the mom. She already has custody now, basically. The kids are with her. So it's always a bad start doing that. You want to stay living together if you're living together. That's the first strategy you could use there as far as custody and parenting time disputes go. Number 2 out of our top 5 here would be your work schedule. If you have a bad work schedule, if you're working second shift, meaning you're at work the whole time the kids are home after school, or you're working third shift, so you're sleeping during the day and running into trouble with being able to take care of the kids or get them to events or deal with those sorts of things. If you have a bad work schedule and you can change it, you're going to want to do it. A common mistake people make is they'll do a hypothetical sort of thing. They'll say, well, if I can get custody and I can get this time with the kids, then I could change my work schedule. Nobody will listen to that. You have to have already changed your work schedule. So that's number 2 in our top 5 here is change the work schedule if you can. That's the idea there. If you got a work schedule that's not going to work with your kids' functions and their lives and their after-school activities and all those sorts of things, then get that changed at the beginning. Number 3, if the mom is the primary caregiver, you need to get more involved. So number 3 is get more involved with the kids' lives. You need to know, what school they go to, who their teachers are, what activities they're involved in, what are their extracurricular activities, things that they're doing after school, assuming they're school age, who's their doctor, who are their teachers. You need to get all that down and get a sense of what's going on in their lives. If the mom's been the primary caregiver, you've been busy working, you're not really that involved, and now you're going your separate ways, you need to establish yourself as more involved with these kids' lives. You need to get yourself more involved, or you'll be on the outside looking in. They'll set up a schedule. You'll feel like you really don't have any say in any of it, and you won't really have a meaningful connection to what their schedule is, what they do, what the day-to-day activities are. You want to be involved with all those sorts of things early on. If you know a separation's coming, if you know a divorce is coming and you have kids, that's another thing to look at, is just get more involved with the kids. And that in and of itself is its own reward. You're spending more time with them, then you just get to know them better. You get to build a stronger relationship with them. So that's another tip. And then number 4, you're going to want to avoid conflict. Avoid conflict with the wife. Avoid conflict with the mother of your children. No good comes of that. Like I said at the beginning, 98% of these cases are going to settle. So picking fights, taking a stand, getting into disagreements over silly things won't matter. Ultimately, it's not going to be up to her. She's not going to be the sole decider of custody and parenting time for you. It's going to come down to what you both agree on. So getting into fights at the beginning, getting farther apart, and name calling and nonsense is only going to hurt you in the long run, because you'll end up being in a position where you have to try to settle a case and work things out with that person. And number 5 in the advantages that you can get with a custody case is to file first. You know, it's kind of a simple concept, but it can help. There can be a lot of advantages to that potentially, whether it's a divorce or a custody case. Either way, filing first definitely has its advantages. Whoever files first potentially can get court orders signed that can affect custody and parenting time. The court will sign these orders without a hearing. Whoever files first gets to lay out the narrative. They get to explain their side of the story. They can say a bunch of bad things about you if they want in their complaint, and it goes forward that way. So you want to avoid that, get ahead of it by filing first and avoiding all the nonsense. You want to be avoiding court orders getting signed behind your back. You want to avoid bad things being said about you in the complaint. You know, you want to avoid all those types of things. So that's the top 5 tips here, the top 5 ways to get custody and the advantages you can get in a custody and parenting time dispute. So I hope that helps. Thanks.